We continue now at the top of Daf Nun Dalet of Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 54b. We just finished saying that when a person is pulling a bunch of camels with ropes, he shouldn't allow more than a tefach out of the front of his hand. It looks like then he's carrying a rope. It's not clear that that rope is being used to pull along the camels on Shabbos. So the Gemara now asks, Vatanya, but we learned in a Braisa, Uvilvad sheyagbiyah min akarka tefach, that the only requirement is that the rope is lifted up from the ground a tefach. Rashi explains, Vatanya uvilvad sheyagbiyah min akarka tefach, avol kol kama deboy neifuk mitusayade. As much as you want it to come out of your hand is fine. It could be 3 tefach of rope, 4 tefach of rope, as long as you lift it so it's a tefach off the ground. So that contradicts what we said before. The Gemara answers, Kitanya hahi bechevla debeini beini. No, that Braisa was talking about the rope between the person's hand and the camel. That part of the rope has to be up a tefach, but the part that comes out from the other side of the person's hand, that there's a halacha that it can only be a tefach coming out. Rashi explains, Bechavla debeini beini shebein yadu legamol, the rope between his hand and the camel, ba'ahu kamar kama deboin nahavi. There we say as much as you want you can have. Uvilvad she'eg benim and a karka tefach. Just make sure that it's lifted off from the ground, the tefach, kedei shetehei nira ha behema nimshchabo, so that it's clear that the behema is being pulled by this rope. If not, it doesn't look like you're using it to protect the animal. It just looks like a burden. It doesn't seem to be that you're holding its head in his hand. So that's the end of the Gemara here. The Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Ein chamor yotze b'mardas, a donkey is not allowed to go out in a mardas. Again, that's a saddlecloth. Bizman she'ena kshura, if it's not tied onto it. V'lo bezug, it can't go with a bell. Afal pishu pokuk, even though the bell is sealed up, it's not making any noise. V'lo besulam shebetzavaro, also the chamor shouldn't go with a ladder that's around its neck. V'lo beritzua shebaraglo, not a strap on its foot. Ve'en hatarnagolim yotzin bechutin, and the tarnagolim cannot go with these threads. V'lo beritzua shebaraglim, or the straps that are on their feet. Ve'en hazachorim yotzin ba'agola shetachas aliyah shalahen. Also, the males, the rams, should not go with a wheel that was placed under their tail. We're going to see Rashi on all of this. Ve'en harachelim yotzes chanunos, the female sheep, the sheep essentially can't go chanunos. Ve'en ha'egel yotze begimon, the calf can't go out with a gimon. V'lo para b'or hakupar, a cow cannot go out with the skin of a porcupine. V'lo b'ritzua shebein karnea, and it also cannot go out with a strap that is between its horns. Paraso shel Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah haisayotze b'ritzua shebein karnea. The cow of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would go out in this fashion with the strap between its horns. Shelo b'ratzon chachamim, but that was not according to the will of the chacham. They did not agree with this. Rashi explains, first of all, afal pi shechalalo pakuk b'muchin, even though you have this bell, and the inside of the bell you put in some pads, so that the inside of the bell doesn't ring, it doesn't make any noise. With a Gemara mefarish time, and the Gemara will explain why you can't go out with a bell if it's not making noise. Sulam uritzua v'chol hanach demasnisin mefarish b'Gemara. The ladder, the ritzua, all that will be explained in the Gemara. V'chulu mishum dechayes alayu. All of them have the same reason. It's because the person cares about these items. V'inafli asi lesuya. So if it falls off, he's going to end up carrying these items in Rosh Hashanah. Agola, that was the wheel under the tail of the animal. Kagon karon katan. It was a little wagon. Sha'osin lo tachas inava. They put it underneath its tail. Sharosh zonav osan ha'elam rachav kimin kar katan. Because the top of the tail of these rams, it was wide like a small pillow. Vein bo etzim, had no bone. Elashumon vav, was fat and thick. V'chavit and heavy. Ucheshanigra la'aretz nisra. When it would get dragged along the earth, it would get cuts. V'nishchas, it would get destroyed. V'osam lo agolam iskal geles acharav. So they would make like a wagon with a wheel there that would roll after it. Kashu holech, when he would walk along, vazon of kosher olah, the tail was tied to it. Kupar, that's sheretzu shanim of chodin. Kamachat, that's an animal which has sharp skin. Again, we said probably like a porcupine. V'korin laritzun, v'koshin ora b'dade hapara. They would tie its hide on the udders of the cow. Shalo yanikua shrotzim. This was in order that the shrotzim, the bugs, the insects, shouldn't come and nurse from the cow. The strap that was between its horns, again, it's considered a masoi, as the Gemara will explain. The Gemara now says, my time, what's the reason for all these things? Kida Amran, like we say, this is referring specifically to the mardas, to the saddlecloth. Rashi says, Kida Amran, she'ena kshurabo me'erev Shabbos. If it wasn't tied there from erev Shabbos, the lo goli me'esmol she'etzricha lekach. Now it's not clear already from yesterday that it needs this item, she'ehel al malbush, so therefore it cannot be considered, if it would have been done yesterday, yesterday, it would have been considered a malbush, but if it's not, then it's not considered a malbush, it's considered carrying on Shabbos. For the animal, it's a problem. V'lo bezug afal pi shu pakuk, not with a bell, even if it's sealed up. Misham demichzik command de azal lechinga, because it looks like you're taking this animal out to sell it in the marketplace, which is a problem. V'lo besulam shebetzavaro, not with a ladder that's on its neck. Amar Rav Huna beiloa. Rav Huna says this is what we call a beiloa. Lamai avdile, what do you do it? What do you make it for? Lahecha de islay maka de lohader chayich be. This item was made for an animal which has a wound. We don't want it to lick the wound. Rashi here explains. Beiloa shekoshen etzel halechi. It was something that you tied by the cheek. De lo hader chayich la shelo yuchal lahachzir tzavor l'tzara maka. This way the animal can turn its neck towards the wound. Lechacha b'shinav, in order to lick it with its teeth. V'koshen b'tzavaro, and they would tie it on the neck. V'chashuv meim yoser mikshishin shal gave hashever. Rashi here adds that this item was more important than the splint that you would put on a broken leg, and that's why we're more strict with it. V'naflu chayes alayu. If it fell, the person would have rachmanis. He'd want to pick it up. Not really rachmanis, but in other words, he'd want to protect this item which had value. U'maisilu b'shkagi, he'd end up carrying it by mistake. Then the Mishnah said, "V'lo b'ritzua shebaraglo," not with a strap on its foot. The avdi le legizra, it was made legizra. Rashi explains, legizra behema shepsiosek kitzarim. If you have an animal who takes small steps, umaka ragleo zebazen, the feet end up hitting each other. Osin lo kimin tabas shalakolim or ritzuas avos. You make this kind of ring or straps. V'koshin osalamalami parsas oregel. You tie it above the area where it's stepping. Makam sheminakshin zubazu, in the area where the legs are knocking against one another. This again, it protects the animal. Then the Mishnah said that ve'ein hatarnagolin yotzin bechutin, the chickens are not allowed to go out with the strings. The avdi le simona ki hechid lo lechalfu, the threads, the strings were used in order to identify that they shouldn't get mixed up, that I shouldn't mix up my tarnagolin with somebody else's. V'lo b'ritzua, and also not with a strap. The avdi le ki hechid lo litberu money, this was put on the animal in order that it shouldn't break vessels. Rashi explains. First of all, the lo lechalfu b'tarnagole chavreim, it shouldn't get mixed up with the tarnagolim of a person's friend, and also the lo litvaru mani, shouldn't break vessels. Shekoshin shnei raglei yachad b'ritzu, again they would tie the two legs together with a strap. Kitzara was a small strap. Shelo tuchal laharim raglei lahatis. This way it wouldn't lift up its feet, and it would end up, if it would lift up its feet, the problem was it would kick around pebbles, and all kinds of things would break. So that's why they put this on. The males, the rams, should not go out with this. Again, this was the wheel or the wagon that was underneath the tail. Again, that's in order that, as Rashi adds over here, the tail shouldn't bump into rocks or other things, and it should damage. We don't want it to damage its tail. The sheep should not go chanunos. So what is chanunos? Yosef Rav Acha bar Ula kamed Rav Chisda v'Yosef v'kamer. Rav Acha bar Ula sat in front of Rav Chisda and he said as follows: Misha shegozin osa tomnin lo ezek b'shemen. From the moment when they shear the wool off of a sheep, they would take this ezek and they would soak it in oil. Ezek was something soft, maybe cotton or something like that. And they would put it onto its forehead, and that would keep the animal from getting cold. So that's what he understands as chanunos. Amar later of Chisda says him marukva. If that's what you're doing with sheep, you're treating them like marukva, meaning it's ridiculous to treat sheep with such chashivas that you're going to give them this special pad soaked in oil to keep them warm. He doesn't agree. Yosef Rav Papa bar Shmuel kamed Rav Chisda Yosef v'kamer. Rather, Rav Papa bar Shmuel sat in front of Rav Chisda and he was sitting and he was saying, B'shasha koras leiled, at the time when the animals are giving birth, tomnin lo shnei izkin shel shemen. Again, they take this these pads soaked in oil. Again, they put one on the forehead and one on the womb in order that it should stay warm. Amar later of Nachman. Rav Nachman said, Yalsa. If so, you're treating this animal like Yalsa. Yalsa was the name of Rav Nachman's wife. Again, you're giving too much chashivas to the animals. Elamar Rav Huna, rather Rav Huna says, there's a certain kind of tree far off across the sea, which is named the Chanun. Umavian Kesam, they bring a little toothpick of that tree. Umanichin lo bechotma, they put it in its nostril. Kadesha tisatesh v'yiplu darnei rosha. That way it's going to sneeze, and all of the lice that are on its head will fall off. This is something that they used to do, and that's the item that the Mishnah is talking about when it says it's not allowed to, the rechelim can't go out chanunos. So the Gemara says, Yachi zacharam nami. If that's true, this should be true by males also. Why is the Mishnah only referring to sheep, to the females? Even rams should be able to perhaps use this, and the Mishnah should talk about them as well. And the Mishnah should say, you can't do this on Shabbos. So the Gemara says, no, when it comes to the males, the males are always goring one another, so these lice, maybe it's not lice, maybe it's worms, but whatever it is exactly, these worms already fall off automatically. They don't need this solution. Shimon Nazira Amar Shimon the Nazir gives another teretz. He says, Kisma derisma. The chanunos in the Mishnah is a reference to kisma derisma. Rashi says, what's kisma derisma? Kisma derisma, kesem shel rosam shemanichin la bechotma. This was, again, a wood chip of the rosam tree. The rosam tree was what they made into these coals. So that's why they call rosam. Rosam refers to coals as well. So they would put that again in the nostril, the same basic idea, but it was a specific kind of wood called the kisma derisma. So the Gemara now says, Bishlama de Rav Huna hainu de katani chanunos. We understand Rav Huna, that's why the word is chanun, because the name of the tree was the chanun. But according to every other answer we've given over here, my chanunas. What does the term chanunas come from? The answer is that we do something that shows our rachmanas, that shows our mercy upon the animals. Then the Mishnah said, Ve'ein ha'egel yotze begimon, that the calf is not allowed to go out with the gimon. My egel begimon. What is the egel going out with the gimon? Amar Rav Huna says bar nira. It's bar nira. Rashi says bar nira. Ol katan shemanichin le'egel betzavaro. This was a small yoke they put on the neck of the calf. Sheyia lamud lochuf roshel kasheyigdal. This taught the animal to bend its head when it got older. The Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Elazar says, "My mashva the high gimon lishna de mechaf." How do you know that the language of the word gimon it means bending? Tichsiv halachuf ka'agman rosha. The pasuk actually says this exact language, that the bending of the head is referred to with the term of lachuf. Then it said that the cow should not go out with the hide of the porcupine. Again, it's made in order that the shrutzim shouldn't go in there and try to take the milk. Also shouldn't go with a strap between its horns. Gemara explains this is going back to Rav and Shmuel, which were quoted earlier in the parak. So the Gemara says, Ila Rav, Damar bein Lenoy bein Lashamer Aser, Ila Shmuel, Lenoy Aser Lashamer Mutter. If, according to Rav, it doesn't matter why it's wearing the ritzua, whether it's for beauty purposes, whether it's to protect the animal, it's going to be Aser all the time. As the Rashi explains, again, it's because Rav holds anything that's for extra protection is also considered a burden. This is extra. Shmuel says no. If it's lanoi, if it's for beauty purposes, it's usher. But if it's for protection, even if it's extra protection, Shmuel is lenient and says it's okay. Then the Mishnah said, Parasa shel Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, the cow of Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah went out in this fashion, and the Chachamim didn't like it. So the Gemara says, V'chada para havile, he only owned one cow. Sounds like he only had one cow. V'amar Rav, v'amri lo, amar Rav Yehuda, amar Rav. Rav said, some people say Rav Yehuda said this in the name of Rav, Tracer alfei egle, have him ma'aser Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah me'adrei kol shasa v'shasa. Every year, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would bring 12,000 calves in for the meiser. So the Gemara says, you're right, Tana, they taught on the Brisa lo shelo haisa. This cow that we're talking about didn't even belong to him. Ela shel shchei naso haisa, it belonged to his neighbor. Umitoch shelo micha, but since he didn't protest against what she was doing, because again, the Chachamim said that the cow should not go out in this fashion, so again, with the Ritzua Shebein Karnea, so since he didn't protest, Nikras al Shemo, the Aveira is called upon his name. Rav v'Rabbi Chanina v'Rabbi Yochanan v'Rabbi Chaviva masnu b'kulei de Seder Moed kol kei zuga chilufei Rabbi Yochanan u'ma'al Rabbi Nasan. So Rav, Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Chaviva, and anytime you see in Seder Moed this group of Amoraim, so then some people take out Rabbi Yochanan and they put in Rabbi Yonasan instead, and they say as follows: Kol mi she'efshar limchos la'anshei beis. So anyone who could have protested against the people in his household, v'lo michan, he doesn't protest, nitpis al anshei beis. So he is punished for the averus of the people in his household. Ba'an she'iro, let's say it's people in a city, nitvas al an she'iro, then he's going to be punished for the sins of the people in a city. B'chol olam kulo, nitvas al kol olam kulo. If it's the whole world that he could have protested and he didn't, he gets punished for the whole world's sin. Amar Rapapa says, V'hani devei reish galusa, these people in the house of the reish galusa, nitpasu al kulei alma, they are punished for the sins of the whole world because they do have such an ability. Like Rabbi Chanina said, Hashem b'mishpat yavom ziknei amo v'sarvim sarvim chatu. What does the pasuk mean when it says Hashem b'mishpat yavo with the elders of the nation? And the Gemara will continue discussing this issue. Just take a look at one Rashi. B'chol olam kula, b'chol Yisrael, kagon melech v'nasi. Let's say you have a king or a nasi, she'av shel olimchos, who could protest, she'yirein mipanav, because people are afraid of him, or mekayim and devar, they do what he says, and he doesn't protest, that's going to be problematic. And we'll continue this discussion in the next video on Daf Nun Hey Amud Aleph.